Welcome to the 2021 NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. We're back in Music City for day 2 of the Nashville Super Regional. The reigning national champs are one win away from a 5th trip to the College World Series. The Pirates of East Carolina must win today to force a deciding Game 3 tomorrow, or their season is over. We started with 64 teams last weekend. We're down to 16 in the best of 3 supers to decide which 8 teams go to Omaha in the College World Series next week. In a super regional full of all-American pitchers, we saw a tremendous pitchers duel yesterday. In Game 1, Pirates ace Gavin Williams was on the mound. He threw 7 1/3 brilliant innings, and he had 13 strikeouts on the day. But the Commodores had their All-American ace, Kumar Rocker, who is one of the most clutch postseason pitchers in college baseball history. Took a shutout into the 8th. 2 runs was more than enough support for him. They get the last out to win Game 1, 2-0, the final. So here's our side of the bracket. The winner of this Super faces the winner of the Tucson Super Regional in Omaha. Either it'll be Ole Miss or Arizona. Arizona leading that series 1-0. The other half of the bracket opens play today. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Nashville. Alongside Ben McDonald, the College Baseball Hall of Famer, I'm Clay Matvick. And for fans of pitching, and I know you're one of them, Ben, yesterday was an absolute treat because Rocker and Williams will likely someday pitch in the big leagues. So hold on to your hat because today we've got another All-American going to the mound for Vanderbilt in Jack Leiter.
Yeah, we got a pretty good matchup today in Jack Leiter. What can you say about him? It's kind of been 1A and 1B for Vanderbilt. But Jack Leiter, going into Super Regional play yesterday, led the entire country in strikeouts with 146. He's 9-3 on the year with a 2.2 ERA. And I tell you what, the stuff is off the charts. The fastball is up to 96, 97 miles an hour. It's got some high spin rate stuff behind it as well. He's got all the pitches. There's a good changeup down and away. And how about the breaking balls? And the numbers were gaudy early, Clay, and you wondered how he would do when conference play began. Well, he answered that bell early. He threw a no-hitter early in the year against South Carolina. He's expected to be the first college pitcher off the draft board a month from now. For East Carolina, Carson Wisenhunt, COVID freshman for him, and East Carolina will put all their eggs into this basket right here. He came to East Carolina as a two-way player, and head coach Cliff Godwin, after the season ended last year, he said, hey, big fella, we're going to focus on pitching for 2021. Well, that focus has paid off. He's 6-1 on the year, and he's given up 3 earned runs or less in 9 of his 12 starts.
The defending national champs can be the first team to secure a trip to Omaha, but the Pirates are ready to play another day in Nashville. We continue on to the road to Omaha next. Here's Vanderbilt's lineup. It's a balance of power and speed, 84 stolen bases as a team, and Enrique Bradfield, their leadoff hitter, has more than half of them. He leads the country in steals. And they're going to be facing Carson Wisenhunt on the mound, the second-year freshman who came to ECU as a two-way player. But there is no doubt, Ben, that his future is on the mound, so that's where his focus has been.
No doubt. I mean, 6'3", 205-pounder. The fastball is 89 to 94, Clay. He'll sink it, 2-seamer, and he'll throw a 4-seamer as well. The curveball is really solid, but the difference maker is his changeup. The changeup's a big-time changeup, and most people feel like if he continues to develop, he could very well be a first-rounder in next year's July draft.
How about the pitching in this Super Regional? Rocker and Williams yesterday, Leiter and Wisenhunt today for Game 2. Absolutely outstanding. And we're underway in Music City, and the first pitch to Bradfield misses down and away as the Commodores are 1 win away from another trip to Omaha to defend their 2019 national title. What a year for the true freshman Bradfield, trying to bunt his way on, and he skips that one away foul. Bradfield 1 for 3 with a walk, and he scored the second run of the game yesterday after reaching on an infield single in the 8th. And a beautiful slide at home plate to avoid the tag. Originally, Ben, he was called out, but his speed and his base running ability and his sliding ability gave Vanderbilt that all-important insurance run late.
No doubt. I mean, look, Clay, he's a difference maker. And then don't forget how he got on first base, too. You know, he puts pressure, he gets to first base, then, of course, comes around to score, as you mentioned. And he's probably the only guy on the field that could have scored with the infield in from third base, and he found a way to do it.
2021 SEC Freshman of the Year, a freshman All-American. Heading the count here, 3-1. And Whisenhunt misses big. A leadoff walk for the second game in a row to Bradfield. Tim Corbin's Commodores on the doorstep of another trip to Omaha. 44 wins on the year. He's in his 19th season. Got his 900th win last Friday. Before Corbin, Vanderbilt was a perennial SEC cellar dweller, and he has built an empire in Music City. As a former pitcher, Ben, you have to appreciate what's going through Whisenhunt's mind, the nation's leader in stolen bases, right away on, and already struggling with a little bit of command. And now he has to field his position. Nice sacrifice bunt by Young. Bradfield's at second with one out.
Yeah, these first innings are always so tough, and Whisenhunt doesn't have a lot of big-time experience, right? COVID freshman. He's had a solid year, but all of a sudden you're in this kind of environment, and you're not sure what's working for you. You're not sure what you had in the bullpen. Does it translate to the game mound? You got to face Enrique Bradfield Jr., Carter Young, and Keegan right out of the chute. It can be difficult. So he's just trying to navigate through this first inning and kind of get a feel for what he has early in the day.
So Carter Young, second straight game with a sacrifice bunt, leads us to Dominic Keegan for Vanderbilt. The big first baseman was 0 for 4 with an RBI fielder's choice in the 8th yesterday. Now you see the ump cam, our home plate umpire, Kellen Levy today. You're going to be seeing more of this throughout the College World Series next week. Ground ball, left side, snared by Agnos. The throw across the diamond to get the second out. That was not an easy play off this artificial turf, but Agnos made it look fairly easy.
No, that was an outstanding play because you could see that ball had a ton of topspin on it. And watch it at the last second. This hop right there. You see how it comes up? And what a move it was to the glove for Agnos. A strong throw across the diamond. Big time. This ECU defense can play, Clay. 978 fielding percentage. It was #1 in the American Athletic Conference.
Neither of these teams had an error in the field yesterday. As Jack Bulger comes up for the first time. He was 0 for 1 with a walk as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning yesterday. Troy Leneve got the start as the DH. It's Bulger today, the true freshman out of Maryland. And first pitch is in there for strike one. Ben, 2 runs, more than enough support for Kumar Rocker yesterday. However, Vandy's offense struck out 14 times. I know that was a bit concerning after the game to Tim Corbin. Vandy's now struck out 26 times in the last 2 games. So something that they're certainly thinking about as they approach Whisenhunt.
Yeah, I mean, but if you go back and look at Vanderbilt's offense, they were one of the top teams in the SEC strikeouts. I mean, this team strikes out a lot, but it can also steal bases. It can hit home runs. It's weird, though, they strike out a lot. They do find their way on base a good bit as well. So it's kind of where we are in baseball right now. You're seeing these kind of things. You know, lots of strikeouts, but home runs, but they will take their walk. They can take an extra 90. So it's a complete offense, but you run up against a real dude like Gavin Williams yesterday, and look, he was on fire with 13 punch-outs.
Bradfield at second, 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch not going to come as Whisenhunt spins back to Bradfield again.
Clay, that's one thing I really felt like Gavin Williams did a nice job, the starter for ECU yesterday. He controlled the running game, and you're seeing Whisenhunt right now being left-handed. That'll help him over with runners at first base, but there's already a couple of inside moves, and he's keeping Enrique Bradfield close to second base.
Bulger swings and fouls it back. Yeah, when Bradfield reached with his walk in the first inning yesterday, Williams threw over 5 times and kept him really tight to the bag.
Well, that just kind of makes you a complete pitcher. You got to be able to do it all. Not only can you pitch, but you got to be able to control the running game, field your position.
Wisenhunt gets the strikeout of Bolger to end the first. Bradfield stranded. Pirates coming up for the first time. Here's the East Carolina lineup under Cliff Godwin, the head coach. 3 hits yesterday, matching a season low, but it is a potent offensive lineup with Norby at the top. Connor hitting .417 coming into the day. His hit in the 8th inning was the last batter that Kumar Rocker faced. And of course, the Pirates will have to deal with Jack Leiter, the draft-eligible sophomore, and what an amazing year for him, Ben.
Yeah, the numbers have been off the chart, Clay. 9-3 with a 2.2 ERA, 89 innings pitched, and what I can't believe, 39 hits only. Opponents are hitting 129 off of Jack Leiter. That's the 3rd best mark in all of college baseball. You know about the strikeouts. One thing to keep an eye on, though, he's given up 11 home runs this year in just 89 innings pitched. So East Carolina with a puncher's chance, and maybe they get a guy or 2 on and find that one mistake and hit a home run and figure out a way to win this ball game. But it's going to be super difficult because Jack Leiter is a big-time performer.
How do you anticipate East Carolina's offensive approach being different facing Leiter than it was yesterday facing Kumar Rocker?
Well, to me, Jack Leiter throws a few more fastballs. And while that's probably his best pitch because it's got some analytical stuff to it, in the age we talk a lot about analytics, Clay, it's a high spin rate fastball, meaning it just stays on plane a little bit longer than what most fastballs do. So the approach off of that would be try to get to the top of the baseball if you could. You probably never will. Maybe you get a line drive or you put the ball in the air.
And Norby, the American Conference Offensive Player of the Year, the sinking liner. And Bradfield is not going to get to it. So it's a leadoff hit for Connor Norby.
I think this ball fooled Enrique Bradfield a little bit. It was a big swing, but the ball was not hit very well. And Bradfield right there realizes he's got to get in. He lays out, and you can see he traps it right in front of him, and a nice job, because if that ball shoots by him from where he's at, there's no doubt Norby ends up at least 3rd base.
The 102nd hit this year for Norby, 2nd most in the country, as Thomas Francisco comes up for the first time. The big first baseman, 2nd best average in the American Conference behind Norby, .360, 13 bombs, and 48 driven in. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, one of the team's 3 hits. He'll chop this one right to Keegan, who won't have a chance at a double play. But Francisco with a productive out to place Norby now in scoring position. That'll bring up Josh Moylan, the DH. Moylan, a true freshman out of Stony Beach, Maryland, was hitless yesterday in 4 at-bats. Freshman All-American. That announcement made on Wednesday. ECU threatening here in the first. Strike.
Now, Leiter's got all the pitches. You're going to see an exploding fastball, but he's got a slider and a curveball. That was a curveball, and he's going to show you the changeup, too. See his 146 strikeouts. 2nd behind Rocker now.
Rocker retired the first 9 in order yesterday. East Carolina didn't have a base runner until the 4th inning, and they only got 2 runners in scoring position all day. So already putting a little more pressure on these Vandy defenders than they did all day yesterday. The 1-1. Moylan has started all but 1 game this year for the Pirates, either as the designated hitter or at first base. He was named first team all-conference as a designated hitter. Breaking ball. Called strike 3.
Well, forget about it. I mean, nobody's going to hit this one. Starts about your eyes and it catches the top part of the strike zone, Clay. And where I come from, you can hang a worm on that hook. How about the ump cam? That's big time, because you see it up. As a hitter, you see it up, you recognize it up, and you instantly flinch and give up on it. But that ball had some big-time vertical break coming back down.
Now Alec Makarevich with 2 down. He swings at the first pitch, and he's going to hit it high and deep, but foul.
Well, Clay, you can already see this approach from East Carolina, okay? So they are attacking fastballs. Base hit by Norby on a fastball. Francisco attacked the fastball, and Makarevich already. They don't want to get to the secondary stuff of Jack Leiter. They're trying to hunt a first pitch fastball and trying to go to work.
Makarevich 1 for 4 yesterday. Again, jumps on the fastball at 96. Can't catch up. It's 0-2.
Well, as good as that breaking ball has been so far here in the first inning for Jack Leiter, you get the feeling he's coming right back with it. How about that, Clay? 99 miles an hour on that fastball by Jack Leiter. We saw Gavin Williams, the ECU starter, yesterday touch 99 once as well.
Makarevich, the competitive switch hitter, broke up Rocker's no-hitter with a leadoff single in the 5th yesterday. Behind in the count 0-2. The pitch. Got him with the breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts to get out of the first. Norby is stranded.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Heineken. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Country Music Hall of Fame in downtown Nashville as we're back at Hawkins Field. And we mentioned this yesterday, Ben McDonald. The winner of Game 1 of the Supers has advanced to Omaha 80% of the time. And the home team in the Supers gets to the College World Series about 71% of the time. So it's a heavy advantage coming into day 2 here for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Yeah, no doubt. And don't forget they're 30-6 at home this year as well. So everything has lined up for Vanderbilt. You know, they're a complete squad top to bottom. They have 1A and 1B at the top of that weekend rotation. They have some experience on this club as well. And, of course, they're at home.
There's a strike. As you saw the hand extended from Kellen Levy, the home plate umpire. Here's Isaiah Thomas leading it off. 1 for 4 yesterday, extending his hitting streak to 9 games. The Vanderbilt right fielder. This is a good-looking athlete, Ben.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas has put up some big numbers. 13 homers, 39 RBIs. How about 12 for 12 in stolen bases, too? There's not a lot he can't do on a baseball field.
Inside pitch. He's going to pound it into the turf. The shortstop, Ryder Giles, is there. And he'll throw across for the first down of the second. And that'll bring up C.J. Rodriguez, the sophomore catcher, who had a great Game 1. Went 2 for 3 at the plate and was excellent behind the plate. Threw out their best base stealer, Connor Norby, when ECU was desperately trying to get guys in scoring position, and Rodriguez showed off his hose.
Yeah, he showed off his bat speed too, because he turned around 2 fastballs, 1 for a double and 1 for a single from Gavin Williams, rather. So he showed you some big-time quickness at the bottom part of this lineup. And you're right, anytime you're throwing out 46, 48% behind home plate, you're way above the average.
Yeah. There's a pretty good looking breaking ball from Wisenhunt. Comes in the back door at 83. It's 1-2.
And because Rodriguez was so good on the fastballs, I think ECU took note of that. He's seen nothing but all-speed pitches so far in his first at bat.
There's a fastball, and that's hit to deep short. Backhanded by Giles. Tough play. Got him. And that's why he's in the lineup. Doesn't give you much on the offensive end, but his glove is fantastic.
Yes, it is, and do it, young fella. He shaded over that hole a little bit, but still to the backhand side on his knees, quickly up, a strong throw across the diamond, and by a step, he gets C.J. Rodriguez. Outstanding play by the ECU shortstop.
There's that .990 fielding percentage you talked about. And that one's going to find the hole for Parker Nolan. The sophomore second baseman from Knoxville gives Vanderbilt its first hit of the day.
While Vanderbilt hits home runs, Clay, they can do this too. They'll take the ball on the outside part of the plate and they'll shoot it the other way. And a nice job by Parker Nolan, just simply inside outing that ball. The hands go first, the barrel follows it.
And Nolan now has hit safely in every game of the national tournament. And here's Javier Vaz. As the junior out of Huntsville, Alabama, 2 for 3 with a run batted in yesterday. His first RBI of the year. Getting the start again today.
Yeah, I think Vaz is a perfect example. If you're on a college roster, you got to be ready to play. He didn't get much playing time at all. Only his 4th start of the season, and most of them have been late, Clay, but he stayed ready. He's kept a positive attitude, and now he is showing up in the big moments for Vanderbilt.
Junior college transfer out of LSU Eunice. And you just never know when your name is going to be called, and it's been Vaz's turn here the last couple of days in Nashville, and he's delivered. He's going to whack that one foul, 1-2. Base runners each of the first 2 innings for the Commodores. Bradfield reached on a walk in the first inning, was stranded. Nolan's at first with 2 outs. Here in the second. Carson Whisenhunt. 6-1 on the year. The pitch. That's going to be lined into left field for a base hit for Vaz. Nolan's going to round second. He'll stop there. So first and second, as Vanderbilt has something going with 2 down.
2 balls hit the opposite way. Whisenhunt continues to throw the ball away, and Vanderbilt continues to hit it that way as well. And what a swing that was. Nice and balanced by Vaz. Not trying to do too much, just short and flat and quick to the baseball.
I'm going to bring up Jason Gonzalez, who's been sitting in the 9 hole most of the year. Hits it hard, back up the middle, but right into the shift as Connor Norby was playing right behind the bag. Vandy threatens, but they strand 2. That's what the nightlife looks outside of TG Ameritrade Park at Omaha. And that's coming soon to ESPN, the College World Series, which will get underway next weekend. East Carolina in its 31st NCAA tournament. They have never been to Omaha, but we said this yesterday. Cliff Godwin's program has been an Omaha quality team for several years. They just haven't been able to get over the hump.
Well, no doubt. And look, Cliff Godwin is as good as there is, Clay. And you talk about his 12 years as an assistant coach and where he was at Vanderbilt and Notre Dame and LSU for 3 years and Ole Miss for 4 years.
Agnos swinging at the first pitch, and Zach Agnos is quickly retired as Carter Young, the shortstop, makes the catch for the first out of the second.
Number 4, Blaine Hoover.
And East Carolina wins over Norfolk State, Charlotte, and Maryland last week. Pirates hosting a regional for the 3rd straight season. They're perennial national tournament players. Just trying to get through this round for the first time. Here's Lane Hoover to bat now. Sophomore right fielder. Was 0 for 3 in yesterday's ball game, but was the only Pirate in the starting lineup who did not strike out at least once. Leiter's 1-0. Misses high. 2-0.
Yeah, Lane Hoover really not in there for his offense. The defense is outstanding out in right field. Doesn't have a home run on the year, but he can steal some bases. He can bunt a little bit.
3-0. Just missed, as you can see.
Well, it sounded like a strike. That's
and everybody knows, Ben, you've got good ears. Walked him. Lane Hoover's aboard. And is the first walk allowed by Jack Leiter. Here's the season summary for Cliff Godwin's Pirates. And they won the American Conference regular season. He thinks it's the hardiest bunch of Pirates he's ever coached, because the American played a grueling 4-game series every weekend this season. And as league favorites, of course, they're going to always get everybody's best. They are tested.
Well, everybody knows if you're going to play for Cliff Godwin, you're going to be a tough kid. I mean, it's the kind of kids that grew up drinking out of a water hose, and that's what he recruits over at ECU, and it's hard to argue with the success that he's had. I mean, 6 years he's been there on campus, 5 to 6 years. They have been into the NCAA tournament, their 3rd super regional, and how about this, back-to-back years.
Here's a blue-collar kid, too, Seth Cadell, the junior catcher. Not a prototypical bottom-of-the-order kind of guy. He's got 14 home runs. He's hitting in the 7 spot today, up 1 spot from yesterday. Big cut on the 95-mile-an-hour pitch and comes up empty, 1-1.
And that's what you're going to see Jack Leiter do. He's going to take that fastball. It's high velocity, high spin rate. He likes to pitch it in the upper part of the strike zone. Why? Because he gets a lot of swings and misses underneath that fastball up there, but it only sets up the breaking ball right behind it.
Leiter coming off a beautiful start a week ago against Georgia Tech for the Commodores. Just 1 run allowed, 3 hits. Struck out 11 in 6 innings for his 9th win of the year. 1-1 pitch buries a strike just above the knees. It's 1-2 to Cadell. Chased him up. Boy, he's gotten a lot of outs this year, Ben, with that pitch.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, the no-hitter he threw, I mean, he walked the very first batter of the game against South Carolina. Then he retired. That's 27 right. In a row. And all of his 16 strikeouts were on that pitch right there, the fastball. And it was eerie to hear him say, Clay, he didn't have his best stuff after the game because he really couldn't land his breaking ball. But all he did was punch out 16 and throw a no-hitter against a South Carolina club that could really hit.
Big breaking ball doesn't twist down. So now it's even at 2-2. You listen to Tim Corbin talk about Jack Leiter, and he describes him as a perfect balance between his dad and his mom. Of course, Al pitched for almost 2 decades in the major leagues. Dad Al, very competitive by nature. Mom Lori, very calm in demeanor, and Tim Corbin says it's a very nice cocktail. Competitive, yet calm enough to get through the tough times.
And that's what you want. I mean, that's the perfect kind of athlete, especially a guy that's a starting pitcher. And you could almost tell in that shot right there, Mom and Dad. Al kind of worked up a little bit right there. It looked like he's charting pitches, keeping score. Yeah. Mom looks pretty calm, and Dad's just got the, I mean, he's got the game face on, Clay.
Meanwhile, Lori's just trying to stay cool in the Nashville heat. 2-2 to Cadell. Breaking ball. Wrap foul. This is a good battle here.
Yeah, what a weapon Seth Cadell is down towards the bottom for East Carolina. And don't forget about Bryson Worrell right behind him. He's got 9 homers as well. So Cadell with 14, Worrell with 9. So there is some juice at the back end of this lineup for the Pirates.
Leiter 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Again, the 2-2. Cadell went 3 for 4 with a homer in the region final against Maryland, which put ECU into the program's 6th Super Regional, the 5th under Cliff Godwin. Leiter again sets. Off the outside corner, no, he got it. Strike 3. Third strikeout for Leiter. Cadell looking back at Kellen Levy a little disgusted.
Yeah, I think C.J. Rodriguez helped steal this one, because for me, that ball clearly off the outside corner, probably about 2 balls off the outside corner, but it's where Rodriguez set up, and you see Rodriguez kind of pull that ball back just as he received it.
Oh, it's such a great point, Ben, about how a catcher could sometimes steal a strike for you, and in that case an out. And Rodriguez was very good helping Kumar Rocker in that regard yesterday.
Well, he's just a young man that knows how to work some big-time arms, and he's had those arms. And don't forget about the M&M boys down at the back end of the bullpen too. Murphy and Maldonado, McIlvain.
Now the veteran switch hitter Bryson Worrell, and he fouls off a couple to get behind the count, 0-2. East Carolina didn't have a great conference tournament, got beat by Memphis in the first game, eventually eliminated. It was 6th place South Florida that won the tournament to get the auto bid to the NCAA tournament. They are still alive in the program's first Super Regional. They'll take on Texas later today in Game 1. Very good year in the American. Outstanding baseball league. The 0-2. Another great breaking ball. 2 strikeouts to end the second, just like Leiter did in the first. There's Kumar Rocker. Great performance yesterday. And he was taken by the Yankees in the 20th round in 2019 out of high school. This year, top 10, maybe top 5 overall, and they're saying the same thing about his teammate, Jack Leiter.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, they're going to be the top 2 college pitchers taken off the board. Just a matter of where they're going to be taken off.
Liner by Bradfield and caught by Giles, who has played an excellent shortstop this weekend.
Boy, and I tell you, the defensive positioning for the Pirates so far today has been outstanding. A nice job of hitting by Enrique Bradfield Jr., but going towards second base is Ryder Giles. He's shown you outstanding mobility so far today.
And that just tells you how well coached East Carolina is. They know their scouting report like the back of their hand. They have played everybody almost perfectly in the field.
Yeah. Well, in an age where most every ball game you see is streamed, and you can go back and get scouting reports, and you can watch almost every one of the games if you're an opposing coach, and you can clearly see that Cliff Godwin and his coaching staff did a lot of work on defensive positioning.
Swing and a miss by Carter Young as Carson Wisenhunt has gone through the lineup for Vanderbilt once, unscathed. Now facing it for the second time. Young with a sacrifice bunt his first time up. You can see the temp, you can see the wind. Just a beautiful Saturday in Music City. Swing and a miss. And then a strikeout number 2 for Wisenhunt.
Well, Wisenhunt's got that changeup dance, and we told you the fastball's a good one. It's a low 90s fastball. We've seen some solid breaking balls as well, but his strikeouts have been picked up on this outstanding changeup of his.
All 8 sites in action today, including the Tucson Super Regional and here in Nashville. Arizona and Ole Miss going at it down in the desert. Arizona winning in come from behind fashion last night to take a 1-game-to-none series lead in that Super. And the winner here will play the winner there in Omaha next week. This is Dominic Keegan now. 0 for 1 with a ground out. And Wisenhunt is really starting to lock in.
Yeah, he's thrown enough fastballs, Clay, on the inside part of the plate and used it enough. And boy, that changeup. And we heard a lot about it, and we're starting to see it now.
That is an 8-pitch inning for Carson Wisenhunt, the lefty. Feeling 10 feet tall and bulletproof as he walks off the mound in Nashville.
Right now, he has got that changeup dancing like a minnow in shallow water. We got a ball game, folks.
All right, Shay, thank you very much. Only the second Super Regional for the Patriots in their history. And Virginia, of course, the national runner-up to these Vanderbilt Commodores back in 2014, won it all the year after that in 2015. So that series getting going in Columbia, South Carolina. We'll keep an eye on that one as the other side of the bracket starts today. All 8 Super Regional sites going today. Ryder Giles leading it off here in the 3rd for the Pirates. The 1-2 to the 9-hole hitter. Doesn't bite on that breaking ball down in the turf. Just upstairs, now full count. Leiter walked a hitter last inning. He's given up 2 walks in his last 3 starts. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and Giles absolutely knew it. As we take a look at the other side of the bracket. So Texas, South Florida out of the American Conference, the Cinderella story of this year's tournament. What a year for Link Jarrett's Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Getting that super going in Starkville. We talked about DBU and Virginia, and Tennessee and LSU, 2 of the 6 teams from the SEC still alive. Look out. This one is hit high and fairly deep by Norby, but there's Vaz to make the catch for the second out.
Yeah, I tell you what, you look at Mississippi State and Stark Vegas, the atmosphere at the Dude, that's a hard one to overcome. You wonder if Link Jarrett and the Fighting Irish are going to be up to the task in that one. Of course, over at Rocky Top, that's a big one. LSU and Tennessee.
Big swing and a miss here by Francisco, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out. Cliff Godwin also worked for Paul Maneri at Notre Dame after leaving Vanderbilt back in the day. And of course, Paul Maneri announcing his retirement just before the national tournament, hoping that his career will come to an end in Omaha. The 0-2 pitch. Up and in, spinning away is Francisco.
Boy, it's one thing to throw 98, Clay, but when you can hear it coming, that one up and in at 98. That right there will get your attention.
Man, he makes it look easy. 3 straight innings in a row. He gets the last 2 outs via strikeout. Welcome back to Nashville and the 2021 NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. We appreciate Capital One sponsoring this great event. Again, Jack Leiter, Carson Whisenhunt, the 2 starters, and just like yesterday, Ben, it's become a pitcher's duel.
No doubt. I mean, Jack Leiter is showing you power stuff, and he's putting the Pittsburgh Pirates on notice right now. Hey, fellas, I want to be the first pick in the draft next month, and Whisenhunt is really getting his changeup going. That's a good fastball, a nice breaking ball, but he's picking up his punch-outs on his outstanding changeup right now.
We've got something going on in the field. The umpires are involved, not exactly sure. And now we're going to review. And as soon as we know, we will pass it along on what's happening. It appears even the umpires are confused, Ben. And that's not good.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. I saw an umpire out at the mound talking to Whisenhunt. I don't know if it has something to do with him.
Well, it was fairly brief on the headsets. And it looks like we're going to assume the position again. Here we go. We're going to play ball as we move to the top of the 4th inning. Cliff Godwin, hey, what's going on, guys? What are you holding my pitcher up for?
He's like, let's just play baseball.
And now he wants to find out some answers from Mark Winters, the first base umpire, who's looking at his pager. Maybe that's what that is. He's saying, hey, by the way, after the game, we do have a table confirmed at Applebee's. So Bulger to lead it off for Vanderbilt here in the top of the 4th. They are the visiting team on the scoreboard, even though this is their house. And it will go back to Vanderbilt being the home team if there is a game 3 tomorrow. Bulger, a strikeout victim. Back in the 1st. Back to Whisenhunt. 1 down.
Now batting for the Commodores. Right fielder number 8, Isaiah Thomas.
Well, another changeup by Whisenhunt. Strike 1 and then strike 2 with this changeup. A comebacker right back to him. And you wonder at some point, is Vanderbilt going to go up there and start to sit on that off-speed pitch? Because all of a sudden, we're starting to see a handful of them lately.
Well, they're midway through the 2nd time through the order, and Vanderbilt has mustered just 2 hits against ECU's number 2 starter. This is Isaiah Thomas now, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out. And he's the kind of guy who could jumpstart an offense. The 0-1 from Carson Whisenhunt. Fastball. And you can see Isaiah Thomas not happy with this. Missed it. And it's a fly ball to right. 2 down.
Yeah, just a little bit tardy on that fastball. He knew he got beat on that one. And boy, Whisenhunt is filling it up right now. 38 total pitches, 29 of which have been strikes.
So Whisenhunt facing Rodriguez now, who's 0 for 1. Trying to bunt his way on, pops it up, and it's going to roll foul. Nearly got a lucky break there. But it rolls into foul ground for strike 1.
Well, you take what the game gives you. And Rodriguez recognized Zach Agnos, the third baseman for ECU, playing well back behind the backs. He said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot and try to get one down.
And this is downstairs, a ball and a strike to the Vanderbilt catcher. Whisenhunt had an 8-pitch inning in the third. As he has retired 6 straight. Strike 2. Romero was expected to share catching duties with Max Romero this year. Romero got hurt in the middle of the season, so it's been Rodriguez doing the lion's share of the catching. He's been great. Pops this one back out of play.
Well, Rodriguez showed up big time yesterday. 2 big base hits, threw out a runner behind home plate, did a nice job blocking balls.
Commodores looking to become the first program to win back-to-back national titles in 10 years. Need a win here to get back to Omaha. Of course, back in 2010 and 2011, South Carolina repeated as national champions. We haven't had a repeat in college baseball since then. The 1-2 way upstairs. There you see the Gamecocks, the last team to repeat. Oregon State did it a couple of times in the mid-2000s. It is so hard to do. That 2-2 breaking ball hit into short left center field. Makarevich will handle it. And the side is out as Whisenhunt has retired 3 in a row for the second straight inning. This is what Rocker and Leiter have done as far as strikeouts in the NCAA tournament so far. Been 37 total strikeouts, 71 outs recorded, 37 have come via strikeout. Just dominant.
Yeah, well, you always hope your stars show up when it matters the most, and the stars have shown up for Vanderbilt. How about Kumar Rocker, Clay, in his NCAA career, 6-0 with an ERA well below 1 in his NCAA career. Postseason, he has been, it's like Kurt Schilling numbers, you know, going back to the postseason, what Kurt Schilling did in the postseason.
And combined, Rocker and Leiter so far have given up just 1 NCAA tournament run this year. As Josh Moylan gets set to lead it off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 4th. 3, 4, and 5 in the order. Swing and a miss. Super Regional number 6 for the Pirates, but they are 1-11 all-time in the Supers. As you get a look at the ump cam right on his face mask, here comes Leiter's pitch. Just off the plate. There's that breaking ball that's been so devastating. 1-2.
You know, and he has the ability, Clay, to kind of dump one in there for a strike one, what we call a get me over curveball for a strike, and then he'll throw the nasty one to punch you out.
This one popped up on the infield. Dominic Keegan, the first baseman, is calling everybody off, and he'll make the catch.
You know, Jack Leiter's a little bit undersized, 6 foot 6'1", but if you watch the extension he gets, Clay, when he goes down the slope towards home plate, he releases the ball well out in front, and he's got legs built like a running back, like a linebacker.
Yeah.
There are powerful legs, and this is what allows him to throw so hard. He really extends like a guy that's 6'6", 6'5", getting down the slope. And, of course, you know, the closer you let the ball go towards home plate, the more the fastball plays. Well, it's already a mid to upper 90s fastball, so it's playing even better than that because of the extension.
Makarevich struck out looking to end the first. He's 0 for 1.
Boy, if he gets that one going too. So we've seen good fastballs. We've seen the outstanding breaking ball. Now he's starting to mix in the all-speed pitch, the changeup.
Another strikeout. 2 down. The NCAA Super Regional coverage for all 8 sites continues throughout the weekend on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com. The home for all 90 NCAA championships. Jack Leiter's dad, Al Leiter, 19 years in the majors, did not want his son to be a pitcher. He wanted him to be a left-handed hitting third baseman. He thought that the constant expectations and the pressure that Jack would feel would be too much. But as it happens, Jack has absolutely embraced it.
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot of high school third base, and that's really where he started in his youth career. But look, when you can hop up on the bump and do the things he does, there's one place for him to be, and that's right where he's standing right now.
Agnos popped out his first time up. And the count here 2-1.
But you know, Clay, when Jack got serious about pitching, you know, Al took him and said, you know what? I'm going to teach you about the mental side of pitching. We're going to talk about the physical things. I'm going to show you how to spin a breaking ball, and boy, he has a good one. But he's done a nice job with him. And of course, it always helps when your dad played 19 years, your Uncle Mark played 11 years in the big leagues, and your cousin Mark Jr. played 2 years in the big leagues as well. So Jack Leiter just gets it.
Every inning he has struck out the last 2 outs. 8 total strikeouts today. We're going to see what Cliff Godwin has to say when we come back to Nashville. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Just like yesterday, we're entrenched in a pitcher's duel here between Vanderbilt and East Carolina. And the Pirates head coach is Cliff Godwin in his 7th season on the job. Cliff, real quick, maybe clear something up for us. Last inning, between innings, there was a situation where the umpires went over and put the headset on, couldn't figure out what was going on. Did you ever get an explanation as to what that delay was about?
Their pagers went off, and they said it was a malfunction after, so they have to go over there once the pagers go off.
Understood.
Coach, talk about Jack Leiter. I mean, look, it is difficult. It's been difficult for everybody this year. How you got to scratch a run or two on him?
Well, you just got to you got to be attack the fastball. I mean, look, I know it's a really unbelievable fastball, but you got to attack the fastball.
All right. Well, good luck doing that, and we appreciate your time, Cliff.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Cliff Godwin, who really kind of got his coaching start in Nashville under Tim Corbin. He was director of baseball operations back in 2003 and 2004, launched what has become a great career. And Tim Corbin told us this week, he said, Cliff Godwin is one of the best college baseball coaches in the nation. And they are going to be a tough out this week. And he's proven them right.
No doubt. Well, you talk to Coach Corbin, you talk to Mike Bianco at Ole Miss, and he'll tell you the same thing, that when you talk about younger coaches that are out there, you're looking at the guy right now that's at the top of the list for everybody's as far as one of the best young coaches in the game right now.
Nolan, Vaz, and Gonzalez here in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk allowed in 4 innings for Carson Whisenhunt. Three-one pitch. Hit high, fairly deep left field in front of that monster on the track. Makarevich will make the catch. Well, tomorrow it's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball in one of the game's oldest rivalries, the Cardinals and the Cubs, from historic Wrigley Field, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Cubs winning yesterday by an 8-5 score, coming from a deficit. They scored 7 unanswered. That rivalry goes back to the late 1800s. This rivalry is not old between East Carolina and Vanderbilt. Well, maybe it's fairly old. It's older than some of the people watching. It goes back to '74, but it's not a rich rivalry. They have met just once, but it was in the NCAA tournament. First round, Vanderbilt beat East Carolina. And so these teams meeting for just the second and third times. And it has been entertaining. They're going to say Vaz didn't go. Ben, how good has Javier Vaz been in this tournament so far?
Well, I mean, look, he was inserted to play defense, and boy, he can do that. But how about 3 for 4 in the 2 games so far? That's how good he has been. And he gives you a different dimension. He's a guy a lot like Enrique Bradfield Jr. Not quite the speed, but he's a guy that works the counts. And when he gets on base, he can start the wheels spinning for this very powerful Vanderbilt offense that hadn't done a whole lot so far.
Two to Vaz. And this is down and away. 3-2. Now Whisenhunt, he has had a manageable day as far as keeping his pitch count pretty low. Look at that distribution throughout the innings. But he walks Javier Vaz with 1 out to bring up Gonzalez.
Yeah, Whisenhunt is a guy that's averaged only 5 innings per start for East Carolina this year. And while he's kept his pitch count down, that is a good number because it's been the pitch count that's gotten him out of a lot of ball games. He can strike you out till the pitch count gets up, but only at 56 pitches. I know if you're head coach Cliff Godwin, you got to hope that he can give you more than 5 innings today.
The lineup ready to turn over again after Gonzalez, who hit a ball back up the middle. But Norby, the second baseman who has played Gonzalez on the shift right behind the bag at second base, was able to grab it to end the inning. You can see Norby is right behind the bag again, Ben. And Gonzalez 2 days in a row has hit right to Norby to end an inning. Fastball strike.
Well, Whisenhunt continues to use the inside part of the plate with that fastball, and it's only made his best pitch that much better, which is the changeup.
Yeah. Pirates looking for a ground ball. ECU got a couple of big double play balls yesterday to keep Williams in the game. And even when he came out, Cliff Godwin told us after the game that he did not want to leave the contest in the 8th inning. He wanted to stay in there. Such a competitor. One of the best that Godwin has ever had. The 1-1 swung on and missed, 1-2.
Oh, there's your changeup. So 2 fastballs in to try to speed that bat up a little bit, because Jason Gonzalez can turn around a fastball. So you speed the bat up twice, and then you take your best pitch and you throw it down and away. The difference in the pitches are really good from a mile-per-hour standpoint. So the fastball's dancing up there about 93 miles an hour. The changeup 10, 11 miles an hour off that.
Just inside. Gonzalez, a veteran, has found himself in and out of the lineup throughout his career at Vanderbilt. He was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts yesterday, trying to produce here at the bottom of the Commodores' order. Throw back to first again. Vaz at first, 1 out, the 2-2. Missed down, not by much.
Still working the inside part to Gonzalez. And you got to think he's going to come right back with that changeup here, even though it's a 3-2 count. Now the danger with that is Javier Vaz can run, and you throw an off-speed pitch in there, he very well could take second base.
Payout pitch to Gonzalez. Walked it. Back-to-back walks for Whisenhunt here in the 5th inning. And here comes Enrique Bradfield in the top of the Commodores' order.
Well, Whisenhunt went with his changeup, and he thought he had strike 3. We've seen a couple of these balls called today, but Whisenhunt did not get the call. So 3-2 count after doing a lot of work. There's your changeup. Looks like it's maybe a ball off the outside corner.
And you can see the pitch count this inning higher than any inning prior, and Cliff Godwin is going to come out for a chat. He threw 95 pitches the second start of the year at Georgia Southern. An outstanding performance in that ball game. He threw 90 a couple of starts ago. He will not get into the 70s in this game. 62 will be his limit, as Cliff Godwin has made the call to the bullpen, a bullpen which has seen a lot of work this year and for the most part has been very effective. It'll be senior right-hander Matt Bridges working his way to the mound. We take a timeout in Nashville. Vandy threatening in the 5th.
Welcome everyone to Omaha, Nebraska. That one is caught. Making the catch. That one's going to end up on SportsCenter. Anchored down. Vanderbilt on top of the college baseball world again.
And with a win here today, Vanderbilt will go back to Omaha to defend their 2019 title. Coming up next, the #1 national seed Arkansas Razorbacks, who scored 21 runs yesterday in Game 1 of the Fayetteville Super Regional against NC State, will take on the Pack. The Hogs can wrap up that Super Regional later today, coming up when we're done here. And that is a very good Arkansas team. As you look at Matt Bridges in his 29th appearance now, he was on the mound for 3 games during the regional, picked up a win and saved the other 2.
Yeah, Bridges is one of those guys, Clay, a lot of experience. He's a senior, and you saw the numbers. He can really strike you out, and that's why he's in the game right now.
Enrique Bradfield, a walk to lead off the game. He has reached in 27 straight. Let's see if this offense can get something going. 0 for 13 so far in the Super Regional with runners in scoring position. Way outside.
Well, this is what you're going to see from Bridges. It's a low 90s fastball, 88 to 92. But several different breaking balls, and typically when he is on clay, he can land his breaking balls just about in any count.
Inside, 3-1. There you see the base runners, Vaz at second, Gonzalez at first. They each reached on a walk to end the day for Carson Whisenhunt, who was pretty solid through 4 1/3. That's a strike. Full count. Payoff pitch. Throw down to third base. Not in time. A double steal for Vanderbilt. Bradfield strikes out, but you've got runners at second and third now with 2 down.
Yeah, really good pitch by Bridges. Just paints a two-seamer down and away, and there's a throw down to third base, but not in time. A really good jump second to third by Javier Vaz.
Now see if Bridges can get East Carolina out of this inning as he deals to Carter Young. Young a sacrifice in the first, a strikeout in the third against Whisenhunt. And what does it say about the situation East Carolina's in that they go to their best reliever, their closer, Bridges, here in the 5th inning of Game 2?
Well, he's got a good sinking fastball. He creates a lot of ground balls. He was hoping for a ground ball double play there. Instead, he gets the strikeout. They'll take that. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, offensively have been one of these teams all year long, runners in scoring position. They have been better than most. But so far in this Super Regional, now 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
That's going to bother Tim Corbin a bit, I'm sure. But this is an offense that can explode at any time. You got Young at the plate, who leads them with 15 homers. Lays off the breaking ball. It's 2-1. Young still not recovered from a shoulder injury suffered in mid-May, but he's been in the lineup here the last 2 days. Two 2-1 from Matt Bridges. Breaking ball, strike 2.
Well, that's a game changer there. You get those fastball counts and you can bend that breaking ball in there. 2 ball and 1 strike to get the count back to 2-2. Oh, I can hear one thing. The Vandy Whistler's not out of air yet.
No. No. Oh, you noticed that.
How could you not? I mean, that guy could give an aspirin a headache. I'm just telling you.
2-2 to Young. Line foul. Well, he turned on that one.
Yeah, out in front of that breaking ball. And you see a hitter that far out in front.
East Carolina trying to, trying to get off the field. A lot of fans from Greenville in attendance in Nashville. Hit hard. Line drive. Right center field. That's down for a hit. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. Carter Young with the biggest hit of the Super Regional so far. And it's 2-0 Commodores.
Well, there's your big base hit. 2 out, runner in scoring position, and Carter Young gets a fastball middle down and just hooks it right over the second baseman Connor Norby's head, and there was no doubt 2 Vanderbilt Commodores was going to score. And Javier Varez, hands up, he is fired up. And he's telling Jason Gonzalez, easy, you're going to score. And there's your big base hit. Vanderbilt now 1 for 15, and that one a big 2 RBI single by Carter Young.
Yeah, yesterday Vanderbilt scored 2 runs, but they came on an RBI ground out and an RBI fielder's choice. This is the first run-producing hit of the weekend. And Dominic Keegan at the plate now. Keegan 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Both of those runs charged to Carson Whisenhunt, who all in all did a nice job. Maybe didn't go as deep as Cliff Godwin had hoped, as he has to turn to the bullpen here in the 5th, and Bridges gives up the big base hit. That 1-0 is skied to left center. Loping over is Makarevich, called off by Worrell. And he makes the catch for the 3rd out. Tim Corbin's team finally delivers a big hit with runners in scoring position. We talk to the boss next. Back in Nashville and the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Vanderbilt now with a 2-0 lead as East Carolina comes to the plate in the bottom of the 5th. Tim Corbin joins us from the Vanderbilt dugout. Tim, it took a while, but you finally got a big hit with runners in scoring position. You were able to get Whisenhunt out of the game. What's been the approach today offensively, and what have you seen?
Well, the approach has been trying to use the other side of the field, and we weren't very successful. He did a good job. I mean, he sinks the ball and throws the ball and decelerates it at the bottom of the zone. So until that hit right there, when it was off of Bridges, we had a tough time with him.
Coach, talk about being good. Jack Leiter has been really good so far today. He seems to be on point really from the 1st inning on. Well,
he needs to continue to be if we got a chance to win this ball game, but he likes this situation. He's a very competitive kid.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Tim Corbin. As you see, Jack Leiter, no runs, 2 hits through 4 innings. He has struck out 8, 1 walk allowed. Lane Hoover, Seth Cadell, Bryson Worrell, the scheduled hitters here for the Pirates in the 5th. Still at 94, and it's an easy 94 for Leiter, even after that long inning.
Yeah, and this
the
is
Vanderbilt
the biggest
offense
inning.
Scored 2.
This is the biggest inning of the game so far for Jack Leiter. I mean, nothing ball game. Your team goes up and they put a 2 spot on the scoreboard. We talk a lot, Clay, and sometimes we talk too much about those shutdown innings and momentum. But this is one. Super Regional, a chance to go to Omaha on the line. Your team's going out and putting up 2. Jack Leiter wants to go up there and throw up a 0.
Well, he gets behind here to the leadoff man, Hoover, 3-1. There's a strike to fill it out. East Carolina trying not to get swept in the Super Regional again. Again, the Super Regional route has been difficult for them. 1-11 all time. In 19 in Louisville, they were outscored 26-2 in the Supers. It has been a much better showing here in Nashville so far, but just getting over the hump. We've said it before. This is an Omaha caliber baseball program in Greenville, North Carolina. It's just they have run into some buzzsaws.
Well, there's no doubt about that. You go back and look at Cliff Godwin's last 3 years, full years rather, he's averaging 45 wins a season. That says a lot. They were 2 games better than Tulane in the American Athletic Conference this year, here in the regular season.
Ooh, that got away from Leiter. I don't know if that slipped out of his hands. He kind of grimaced as he came off the mound on that one. like it slipped out of his hand. That was a big miss for Leiter. And the walk to start the 5th inning as Cadell comes up.
Yeah, it almost looks like this ball just got away from him. He knew it right away. You could tell on release point before it even gets out of your hands whether it's going to be a good one.
Oh my, Rodriguez has done it again. He's got a howitzer. Nobody can run on him this weekend.
Well, thou shalt not run on C.J. Rodriguez. I mean, this is a cannon. This is not even close. A ball up and in, and watch this throw. Quickly out of the hand, and there is no contest at second base.
Lane Hoover was barely in the area code when that ball arrived.
And you wonder if it was not a hit and run or something. The ball got up and in on Cadell where he couldn't even swing at it.
Rodriguez is now thrown out 50% of would-be base stealers this year, and he's well over 45% for his career. The 1-2. That battery so good the last 2 days. That one's fouled back. I mean, you got Rocker and Rodriguez, Leiter and Rodriguez. Strength up the middle is so big.
Yeah, you start with Enrique Bradfield Jr. out in center field, and the double play combination Young and Nolan, of course, Rodriguez behind home plate.
That one's hit hard. Gonzalez gathers it up. Strong throw for the second out. And look at Jack Leiter saying thank you very much. Gonzalez, not a sure-handed third baseman, but he made that look sharp.
Yeah, this is a rocket to the forehand side. One hop, he quickly gets up off his feet, squares the shoulders. Watch this. He knows he has time, squares the shoulders, a strong throw. And boy, Jack Leiter is fired up. And right now, this Vanderbilt defense has been really good behind Jack Leiter. You get Rodriguez, throw out a base runner, an outstanding play by your third baseman, Gonzalez.
Gonzalez with a team-high 12 errors on the year. At times, he's been a liability. But that was beautiful for out number 2. This is Bryson Worrell. 0 for 1 with a K.
He hadn't thrown many of those, Clint, but the ones he has thrown have been mostly to the left-handers, and they've been very good, and that's the changeup.
And I think that's what makes it so effective. He keeps it in his back pocket. Just missed. The Vandy fans don't like it.
Yes, yes, still plenty of gas left in that tank, too. 98 now as we're into the 5th inning.
2-2 to Bryson Worrell, the center fielder. Got him on the breaking ball. Nasty. 9 Ks for Jack Leiter. How about the defense behind him? All right, so we're going to continue, Shea, to keep an eye on that one. Dallas Baptist and Virginia in Columbia. Meanwhile, here it is Vanderbilt and East Carolina. It's 2-0 Vandy. As we go to the 6th inning, Arizona and Ole Miss awaits the winner of this one. Arizona leading 1-0 in that series. It'll continue tonight. Vanderbilt trying to get to the College World Series for the 5th time. East Carolina has never been. They just want to stick around in Music City for another day. A win for the Pirates in come-from-behind fashion would force a winner-take-all Game 3 tomorrow. Jack Bulger was hitting in the 4 spot, but Leneve is going to pinch hit for him here to start the 6th. And he grounds to short. Giles quickly across, 1 down.
For the Commodores, now batting right fielder number 8, Isaiah Thomas.
So is 2 runs going to be enough, Ben McDonald?
Great question. The way Jack Leiter's throwing it right now, you get the feeling he can get you through 7. Pitch count at 73 right now. You get him right around 100, and it'll be up to the bullpen at that point.
That's a strike to Isaiah Thomas, who's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a flyout. Vanderbilt got 2 last inning, thanks in part to a couple of walks for Vaz and Gonzalez before Carson Wisenhunt was taken out of the game. Matt Bridges then giving up a 2-run single to Carter Young. And that's the difference in this game. As Jack Leiter has been outstanding in his start for Vanderbilt, looking for his 10th win of the year. Semifinalist for the Golden Spikes Award, the Dick Hauser Trophy. Those are the 2 highest honors in college baseball. Popped up. Foul ground. Bridges is calling everybody off, and he'll make the catch. Well, tonight it's a busy lineup. ABC will have Game 3 of the NBA Western Conference semifinals between the Jazz and the Clippers at 8:30 Eastern, and at 10 o'clock UFC. You can see UFC 263 on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. You know what? That is not an easy play that Bridges just accomplished in foul ground. It was a long run, and as a former pitcher, Ben, you can appreciate that play.
Absolutely. Because the catcher for ECU, Seth Cadell, never really saw the ball. And as a pitcher, you don't give up on anything. You still got to, once you let the ball go out of your hand, you're just a fielder like everybody else. And if you find yourself sitting there watching sometimes, you're doing the wrong thing. And he did the right thing. He said, you know what, I'm going to pursue the baseball until somebody calls me off. Well, Cadell never saw it, so he was the only guy in position to make the play, and he did.
Here's another
watch
look.
Seth Cadell. Yeah, watch Cadell, the catcher, if you can see him. We're not going to see it in that view, but Cadell never saw it. And you see right at that last second, Bridges looked to see if Cadell was going to be there, and he wasn't, so he made the play.
Bridges came in last inning with 1 out and 2 on. Oh, and he hits Rodriguez here. So a 2-out base runner for Vanderbilt, and that'll bring up Parker Nolan.
Now batting for the Commodores. Second baseman number 25, Parker.
It's one of those breaking balls. You could see where Cadell was. He wanted the ball down and away. Instead, this breaking ball kind of slips out of the hand of Bridges and inside.
And Rodriguez smartly decides to wear that one. It would have been easy enough to dive out of the way of it, but puts it on his hip. And now he's aboard for Nolan, who's 1 for 2 with a base hit coming back in the second inning. Parker Nolan has 6 hits in the national tournament. He's been one of the better offensive performers, and he hits this sharply to second, but Norby is there to end the inning. 5.5 in the books, 2-0 Vandy.
Jack's got some stuff that, you know, should be illegal in terms of what you're allowed to throw.
Swing and a miss on 97.
I'd say an older kid in a younger kid's body, and he's a poised professional.
It's just like it's the whole kitchen sink. Trying to face him, it makes you really have to focus in on what your approach is and what you're looking for, because he can give you 5 different pitches under that bat, and it's just like you have no idea what you can stop.
Clay Matvick, Ben McDonald watching Jack Leiter throw another beauty. He's got a 1-hit shutout through 5 innings. And his team has a 2-0 lead, 1 win away from another trip to the College World Series.
Yeah, if you stick with the Vanderbilt theme when you try to compare him, because we're always trying to have comparisons of pitchers out there, but you remember Carson Fulmer, who was a first round. It almost has the Carson Fulmer mentality, but Walker Buehler type stuff is what I say about Leiter. And it's the Walker Buehler stuff, not that you saw at Vanderbilt, it's what you're seeing at the big league level.
Freshman Jacob Starling of Orlando, Florida is going to pinch hit here in the 9-hole for Ryder Giles, as East Carolina is desperately trying to solve Leiter, as they're starting to run out of outs in this game and potentially their season. It's off the plate, 1-2. You know, like Kamar Rocker back in 2019, Ben. Leiter used that no-hitter against South Carolina to become a star in college baseball. Really, before then, no one was talking much about Jack. But they certainly are now. That's back up the middle, cut off by Young. And Starling is out here in the 6th.
Well, those two guys, they aren't just horses, they're Clydesdales. That's what they are. And when you talk about Leiter and Rocker, I mean, they're Clydesdales out there. I mean, and if you'll notice about them, the competitive nature, and they begin to smell the finish line better than most. So they'll kind of rock through the game. But when it starts to get pretty late in the game, they are closers too. They're finishers as they smell the finish line.
Swung on and fouled back by Norby. Now, I don't want to make it sound like nobody knew who Jack Leiter was. Obviously, Leiter was drafted by the Yankees out of high school. But, I mean, these two became stars after those no-hitters. Rocker in 19, Leiter this year back in March. And could be top 5 picks in this year's draft, which comes in July. Did not go.
Well, remember the conversation we had with Coach Corbin? He told us when Al Leiter and they visited Vanderbilt when Jack was just a sophomore. He's a little bit of a late bloomer, and the question was, they asked Corbin, do you think my boy's got a shot? Does he have a shot to play for you guys? There was some question there. But boy, has he gotten better his last couple years in high school. He was good last year as well, and you can't do it any better than this. He paints 96 right on the outside corner. Rodriguez rocks out there. He says, right-hander, give it to me right here, and you can't do it any better than that.
Well, that ump cam was a great visual there on that strikeout of Norby, one of the best hitters in the American. Francisco is out quickly as Leiter breezes through the 6th in a 2-0 game. Oh, look at the wave in Omaha. We missed that last year. It's coming back. All the fun in the Big O, and we have you covered on ESPN, the home of the College World Series. And we talked about the #1 seed Arkansas Razorbacks. Their game coming up next with NC State, Ben. And Kevin Kopps, the pitcher of the year in the SEC, a total difference maker out of the pen for the Hogs.
Well, he's having a year like I don't think we've ever seen in college baseball. 12 wins, 11 saves. How about the .68 ERA? And look, when they're used to calling the Hogs down there at Fayetteville, when they call the Cops, I'm just telling you, it is over. It's over when he comes in. But you talk about Arkansas, it's so deep. I mean, it's a lineup that can beat you so many different ways. Robert Moore's at the top of it. 106 home runs, so they can bang it. That leads the nation. And the pitching staff is plenty good enough with Kevin Kopps to back in.
This is Vaz to lead it off. Hit to right. Hoover going back. Makes the catch on the wall. Lane Hoover taking extra bases away from Javier Vaz for the first out of the 7th.
Well, we talked about this ECU defense, Clay, and they can do it, and they have done it today. And Lane Hoover makes this look easy. Javier Vaz barrels this ball up really good all the way back to the wall, and he could feel it. He knew he was close to the wall, leaps up at the last second, and really easily makes that play.
And there are a ton of defensive changes for ECU this inning. As Gonzalez hits, Worrell has moved from center to left. Starling stays in the game in center field. Agnos goes from third to short, and Makarevich has come in from left to third. So different defensive setup now for the Pirates as we move into the late innings. Matt Bridges coming on in the 5th inning with 1 out. Dealing to the #9 hitter Jason Gonzalez, who walked and scored a key run in the 5th. But he strikes out here, 2 down. Coverage of the NCAA Super Regionals continues from all 8 sites tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Here's Enrique Bradfield now. Back to the top of the order for the Commodores. He squares to bunt. Gets it down. First base side. And that is a good 1-2-3 inning for Matt Bridges and the Pirates as they come back to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Down 2. Jack Leiter pitching into the 7th today in Nashville. He and teammate Kumar Rocker both projected to go in the top 10 picks in next month's draft. In fact, a month from yesterday will be day 1 of the MLB draft. No 2 teammates, college or high school, have ever gone 1 and 2 in the draft. We've seen some guys go 1 and 3, but never 1 and 2. It doesn't sound like Leiter and Rocker could go 1 and 2 in this draft, but who knows? The way they pitched this weekend, anything's possible. This one is tanked by Josh Moylan. High and deep to right. Goodbye. Home run. The Pirates are on the board. They have cut the Vandy lead in half.
Well, that's one way to get on the scoreboard. How about a long ball? And I'm not sure this one didn't land on Music Row out there somewhere. The big fella, Josh Moylan. That's his 6th home run, 38th RBI. And Clay, we talked about Jack Leiter. If there was one knock on him, sometimes he can give up the long ball. And that's 12 home runs he's given up this year.
First run scored by the Pirates in 15 innings. And now some momentum finally for the ECU dugout as Makarevich hits. Time called. And here comes pitching coach Scott Brown to the mound.
Boy, hunting a fastball. You can see that ball was supposed to be down and away. C.J. Rodriguez, the catcher, wanted away, but look where it was. Inner third where a lot of left-handers like it. And Moylan just simply drops a barrel on it well out of the ballpark.
An offense that was stifled yesterday by Rocker, and up to now, nothing to show for their day against Leiter, but they're on the board now. Makarevich, a couple of strikeouts today. He's ahead in the count, 3-0. And this was the guy who broke up Rocker's no-hitter in the 5th yesterday. He's aboard. Tying run is on. And over the course of the season, Ben, this has been basically the end point for Leiter. Hasn't gone much past the 7th this year.
Yeah, still just at 89 pitches, though. But you got to remember, it's a year last year, his true freshman year. He only threw about 20 innings.
That's popped into the dugout on the bunt by Agnos.
So, you know, like a lot of COVID freshman pitchers that are in our college game this year, you know, you go from not much of a workload last year. Now, Leiter's to the point now in his career where this is by far the most innings he's ever thrown in a year.
East Carolina trying to force a Game 3 tomorrow. A win for Vanderbilt, should they be able to hold on, and they would claim a spot among the 8 teams in Omaha for the College World Series. Agnos showing bunt, the 1-1 pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Fly ball. Fairly deep center. Bradfield goes back, makes the catch, gets it back in quickly. And there's the first out.
Number 4, Wayne Hoover.
Get the feeling Agnos just missed one. Alongside the College Baseball Hall of Famer Ben McDonald, I'm Clay Matvick. We're watching this one in Nashville, Tennessee, between the East Carolina Pirates, the home team on the scoreboard, and the number 4 national seed Vanderbilt Commodores. The Doors leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. If Vandy can win it, they'll make their 5th College World Series trip. East Carolina has never been to Omaha. They need to win today. Otherwise, their season is over. Weak ground ball. We'll see if it's 2. It is! And Leiter survives the 7th with the lead. The defense has been stellar behind him. Well, it looked like an inning-ending double play to get Vanderbilt off the field. Now they are taking a look at the play at first base to complete the double play. Was Hoover indeed out? It was called out on the field, Ben.
Yeah, it would end up being much closer than I thought it was. Lane Hoover got down the line. That's what he can do. But from this view right here, does his foot actually get to the bag? He looks like he could be a little bit short, but I'm not seeing enough right there to overturn this one. Again, we talk about the call in the field is still the most important, but watch Hoover's foot. Watch his left foot. Does it get to the bag?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the call on the field's going to have to stand because there doesn't appear to be enough evidence to overturn it. Yeah, that's it. Call stands. So it's the end of the 7th, and we head to the 8th in Nashville in this critical game. So there's Tim Corbin. Took the job in 2003. Since then, 16 NCAA tournaments, including this one, 4 trips to the College World Series, and 2 national titles. He's hoping to get his guys back to Omaha for a chance at a 3rd. And you can see our side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket gets going today. This Super Regional matches up with the Tucson Super. Arizona leading that series 1-0. Ole Miss jumped out to a 3-0 lead in that game last night, Ben, but Arizona came storming back to win it 8-5. Stanford all over Texas Tech in Game 1, and Arkansas scored 21 in Game 1 of that series, which is coming up after we're done here. The Fayetteville Super Regional Game 2, a chance for the Hogs to get back to Omaha, or as they say in Fayetteville, Arkansas, this time of year, the Omahawks. Jack Leiter has been outstanding.
Yeah, he really has. The breaking ball has been outstanding. He's been able to dump it on the inside part of the bat. And boy, the fastball, we've seen it up to 99. It's been explosive at the top of the zone. The big double play he rolled to get Vanderbilt off the field to end the last inning.
So a home run for East Carolina to cut the Vandy lead to 1. Moylan with his 7th of the year. We'll see if Leiter comes out for the 8th. What's your guess, Ben, in how Scott Brown and Tim Corbin decide to go with Leiter? Does he have enough to get the 8th started?
Great question. I mean, he's at 94 pitches right now, and it's been a long year for him. Remember, he missed the start, not because he was hurt, just because the arm and the body was a little bit tired. And so you wonder if he'll go back out, and it very well could be one of those, well, it looks like that kind of tells a story right there. When you start giving fist bumps and high fives and you sit next to Kumar Rocker and the boys right there, that tells me he's probably out of the ball game.
Yeah. C.J. Mayhew is the new pitcher for ECU. He'll come in after Matt Bridges, pardon the pun, bridged the gap between Wisenhunt and Mayhew. One-run lead for Vanderbilt. They're going to probably need more as East Carolina seems to have some more confidence at the plate now after getting that first run. This is Carter Young. Young had that 2-run hit back in the 5th inning, the biggest hit of this tournament so far, at least in the Super Regional round for Vanderbilt. One and one. Mayhew 4th in the country in appearances, his 34th today. He has eaten a lot of innings out of that Pirates bullpen, hoping to keep Vanderbilt within arm's reach.
Well, the head coach for ECU and Cliff Godwin, Cliff's done a nice job managing that bullpen. And he's got 3 or 4 big-time arms. Bridges, who we just saw, did a really nice job, gave up the 1-base hit, but other than that, he was good. Colmore, Mayhew.
The 1-2 to Carter Young. Struck him out. 1 down. Well, tomorrow, Sunday Night Baseball, it's the Cardinals and the Cubs. Telecast presented by Taco Bell. It starts at 7 Eastern time. A 3-game series continuing today. Yesterday, Game 1, Cubs scored 7 unanswered runs to win 8-5. Dominic Keegan now with 1 down. And Mayhew spikes it in the turf. Keegan hitless today. And hitless in the Super Regionals. But he had that RBI fielder's choice in the 8th yesterday. An important run in that game. Two was enough yesterday, Ben. I just don't get that sense that it's going to be enough for Vanderbilt today.
Yeah, Vandy definitely looking to add some runs. Because one swing of the bat will tie this ball game up. ECU can bang it a little bit. 76 home runs on the year. But it is up to Mayhew right now. He's got to hang a couple of zeros. 1 in the 8th here, 1 in the 9th. Give this ECU offense an opportunity.
2-1 to Keegan, who's a very dangerous hitter. Has been quiet in the Supers, but was outstanding in the regionals. The most valuable player. That's down and in, so now 3-1 to Keegan, who had 3 homers and 7 runs batted in last weekend in the Nashville Regional.
Yeah, and careful here. Good fastball hitter, 3-1 count.
He was ripping, pulled it foul. Keegan came to Vanderbilt as a catcher, was the bullpen catcher on the 2019 national title team, and he has got a much more significant role this year, hoping to lead Vanderbilt back to Omaha where he can shine. Norby played straight up the middle. 3-2 pitch. Off the plate, walked it. So a 1-out base runner for Vandy with Jack Bulger, the designated hitter, getting pinch hit for last time by Leneve, and it will be Leneve again to bat here in the 8th inning. Leneve grounded out his first time up. Checked his swing, did not go. Leneve had a big regional 4 for 11 with the homers and 6 runs batted in. He's found himself in the starting lineup quite a bit the last month for Vandy. There's a strike, 1-1.
Because he can hit the long ball, and he's hit some long balls as of late. Now, tough matchup for him here, lefty. Yeah, lefty on lefty matchup. This is a tough one.
4 homers since May the 15th for Troy Leneve, the sophomore out of Pittsburgh. Oh, Mayhew. Now fooled him there with that off-speed pitch. It's 1-2.
Well, that's what Mayhew likes to do. The fastball's pretty good. It's right around 90, maybe 92 he'll show you. But when he gets the lefty-on-lefty matchup, he likes to bend the breaking ball off the outside part of the plate.
Lifted into fairly deep left center field, carrying back in front of the warning track, where Worrell will make the catch for the second out. So a long out for Leneve. Keegan goes back to first. That'll be 2 down for Thomas. Thomas 0 for 3. Tim Corbin says about Isaiah Thomas, he's kind of got one of those old-fashioned wristy swings, not unlike what Hank Aaron used to have. And he thinks his best baseball is way ahead of him. Another fly ball that disgusts Thomas, and that ends the inning. So Keegan walks, but he's stranded, and East Carolina comes back to the plate in the bottom of the 8th, down 1.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Boy, the weather's been fantastic in Nashville this weekend. Hawkins Field, Clay Matvick, Ben McDonald. We hope you've enjoyed this coverage because we have certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Pitching duels the last 2 days. It's a 2-1 ball game going to the bottom of the 8th. East Carolina has 6 outs to work with. They're going to face the Vanderbilt pen after an outstanding outing by Jack Leiter. Tim Corbin's going to turn it over to Nick Maldonado.
Yeah, we saw Maldonado yesterday just for a third of inning. He came in the 8th with 2 out and retired Thomas Francisco, but he's been really good at the back end of this bullpen, making his 25th appearance for the Doors. See the ERA at 2.4 in 40 innings. He's punched out 46, but how about the 6 right next to it? He's only walked 6 batters in 40 innings of work.
So that would appear to be the blueprint again for Scott Brown and Tim Corbin. Maldonado to set up Murphy. Murphy likely the closer again today. He was the man who got the save yesterday. Maldonado actually had saves in the 2 wins against Georgia Tech in the regional last week, but he's in the setup role, it appears, again today. And first pitch is a strike to Seth Cadell. And again, this is a dangerous part of the East Carolina lineup, even though it's 7, 8, and 9, Ben.
Yeah, because you roll these guys right here, one swing of the bat can tie this ball game. Of course, you could get a chance to roll it back right over to the top as well with Norby and Francisco and Moylan as well.
14 homers for Cadell. The 0-2 pitch just off the plate, 1-2. Struck him out. 1 down.
Maldonado's got those 2 different breaking ball. One's a more traditional slider. That one there is the hard one. More of a cut fastball, if that's what you want to call it. But watch where he starts it. Just on the outside corner, you see that thing just kind of ooze off as it runs down and away from Seth Cadell.
Now here's Bryson Worrell.
Pitch hitting for East Carolina,
And you just saw Nick Maldonado celebrating a birthday today. They're going to pinch hit for Worrell. This is Barini. Freshman out of North Carolina. 267, no homers, 1 run batted in. And he swings, puts a pretty good charge into it, but Thomas able to handle it in right field. 2 up, 2 down. And Starling will hit for himself here in the 9-hole.
Mostly all breaking balls by Maldonado so far.
Quite a way to celebrate your birthday, Ben. Super regional performance for Mr. Maldonado. Trying to get some important outs here late in this ball game.
Yep, and a chance to pitch Vanderbilt back to the College World Series, where they would have a chance to defend their title that they won back in 2019.
That's off the end of the bat a bit. Vaz coming over in the gap, makes the catch, and Maldonado works it quick. 1, 2, 3, 8th. We go to the 9th in Nashville.
College World Series with a winner-take-all game 3. This one's hammered to left by DeMarco, and it is gone.
Let's see how this offense reacts to this man on the mound.
Last chance for the Wolverines. Anchored down, Vanderbilt on top of the college baseball world again.
And Vanderbilt could be 1 inning away from going back to Omaha to defend their national championship. And you can see what teams have done the last 10 years the following year after winning a title. You can see a couple of teams got to the College World Series finals. South Carolina, the only one to repeat, and that was 10 years ago. It's been a while, Ben, since we've had a repeat champion.
It's difficult to do, and boy, how good was Vanderbilt in 19? They won everything there was to win. They ran the regular season title, they won the SEC tournament title, and won their 2nd national title as well.
They would love to put a 3rd sticker on the wall here at Hawkins Field. New pitcher for East Carolina. We're going to see Cam Colmore for the 2nd straight day.
Yeah, Colmore worked 2/3 of an inning yesterday. They didn't allow a run or a hit, struck out 1, and he's got 1 job to do. And that's put a 0 on the scoreboard here tonight and give that Pirates offense an opportunity in the bottom of the 9th.
What a job by the Pirates pitching staff, not just today, but throughout the Super Regional. But they have allowed 3 hits today. That's it. But Vanderbilt has 2 runs on the board, lead it 2-1. As C.J. Rodriguez, the catcher, leads it off here in the top of the 9th. You can see that Frisbee-type delivery by Colmore. Got away from him there on pitch number 1. It was in the 8th inning yesterday, Ben, when Vanderbilt got that all-important 2nd run. Bradfield scoring on the play at the plate. Would love to get a late insurance run here in the top of the 9th. 2-0 to Rodriguez. 3-0. Strike at the knees to C.J. Rodriguez. It'll be Rodriguez, Nolan, and Vaz. 5, 6, and 8. Excuse me, 6, 7, and 8. I can add. I can count. Country arithmetic like you're used to, right, Ben? 3-1 pitch. Oh. Walked him. It's off the plate. And Rodriguez is aboard as we go to the studio and an update from Shea Cornett.
Number 45, Parker Nolan.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Yeah, all 8 sites in action today. Arkansas and NC State in Fayetteville, Arkansas, coming up after we're done here at the top of the hour. And now Seth Cadell coming out to flash some signs to the infield. It's Parker Nolan at the plate. Nobody out and a man on. He's 1 for 3 today. Cam Colmore, 4th pitcher of the day for ECU, and he gets a strike at the knees.
And you mentioned it, Clay. These pitchers for East Carolina have been so good in these 2 games so far. And the relievers have done their job. I mean, Bridges came in 2 2/3, didn't allow a run. Mayhew was good, didn't allow a run. Now it's up to Colmore to draw a line in the sand right now.
Yeah, because East Carolina has the hitters due up in the 9th that they would like to have up there. Norby, Francisco, Moylan, 1, 2, and 3.
And boy, if you're Vanderbilt, you're just trying to find a way. There's Coach Corbin going through the signs over at third base. You're just trying to find a way to get an insurance run. They were able to do it late in the ball game yesterday. They'd love to do it again late in the ball game today.
Nolan pushes it down. Beautifully done. And now Rodriguez is at second with 1 out for Javier Vaz, who has been so good at the plate this weekend.
It's the 2nd time today that Vanderbilt's been able to do this. Get the bunt down. Really good form. You square early. You're sacrificing yourself. No need for the feet to be moving. He simply squares around, drops the bunt down, and moves that insurance run into scoring position.
Single in the 2nd, walk and a run scored in the 5th, and a fly out in the 7th for Vaz. And the ball he hit to right in the 7th inning, Lane Hoover made a great catch on up against the wall. You can see Vaz in the Super Regional, 3 for 5 with a ribby. That lands in there for a strike, 1-1. There's Rodriguez, led off the inning with a walk.
Well, Clay, this is where Vanderbilt's had its struggles in this series, and so has ECU, hitting with runners in scoring position. Vanderbilt only 1 base hit, but runners in scoring position. But it was a big one by Carter Young back in the 5th inning with 2 on. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. He drives in 2.
2-1 to Vaz. Fouled off. You can see Barini has stayed in the game at shortstop as ECU has rearranged the left side of their defensive setup. Agnos goes back to 3rd. Makarevich now back in left field. and everyone else stays the same. Time called. And now the catcher, Seth Cadell, looking to the ECU dugout for a new set of signs. Can Vandy get that run in at second base? Nice play. Colmore throws out Vaz for the second out, and Rodriguez will have to stay put. Let's go to Shea Cornett. All right, gang, thank you very much. Yeah, Starkville going nuts. Tanner Allen, what a year for him. Oh, so now Gonzalez up with 2 down.
Yeah, Tanner Allen, SEC Player of the Year. I tell you what, he leads Mississippi State. And if there's enough offense from Mississippi State, you know the pitching is as deep as any pitching staff in college baseball. You're going to see the Bulldogs right back in Omaha as well.
It's the 4th straight year that the SEC has had 6 teams in the Super Regional round. It is possible that 5 could make it to Omaha. That would be a record. The only intra-conference matchup is LSU, Tennessee, and Knoxville this weekend. So one of those 2 teams will go home. Otherwise, we could have 5 in Omaha from the SEC, including Vanderbilt. 2-0 to Gonzalez. In on the hands and push to a wide open part of the field. Gonzalez is safe. Rodriguez will go to third, and the inning continues.
Well, Colmore made an outstanding pitch, and he gets a fastball right in on the hands of Gonzalez, and he just kind of inside outs it the other way. The shift is on, and Norby behind second base, and no play on a ball that was barely struck.
And Gonzalez is saying, take that, East Carolina. You've been shifting on me all weekend, and I finally found an open spot in the infield. And now back to the top of the Vanderbilt order, but we'll see if there's not another pitching change for Cliff Godwin's club. He's got a couple of guys ready in the bullpen, Wilson and Saylor. Lefty and a righty.
Yeah, big decision to make here, because you got to figure out a way to draw a 0. It looks like Cliff Godwin just out for a pep talk.
And it's gut check time.
Yeah, and he's just making them aware of every situation. You know, maybe the force balk where the runner leaves at first base a little bit early trying to make the pitcher balk, or maybe Vanderbilt tries to get in a run down to push that run home from third base. So a little bit of a pep talk, but a little bit of strategy as well. Just kind of heads up on a couple of things.
Well, Colmore stays in to deal to the SEC Freshman of the Year. He's 0 for 3, but he did hit a ball hard in the 3rd inning, right at Ryder Giles.
Love this view. And don't put it past Enrique Bradfield Jr. to try to take one with him either.
Ground ball. Right field, base hit. Huge hit for Bradfield. Vanderbilt now leads it 3-1.
Well, the SEC Freshman of the Year showing up big time. He did late yesterday with his speed. This time he gets the ball middle part of the plate. It's a changeup left up, and watch the move to the baseball. He rifles this ball down the right field line, and there's your insurance run for Vanderbilt, just like they did yesterday late in the ball game. And C.J. Rodriguez is fired up, and the rookie is fired up as well.
And now they're going to intentionally walk the home run leader for Vanderbilt, Carter Young, to face Keegan. There's Gonzalez at third. Bradfield at second. Young just intentionally walked at first base now to load him up for Vanderbilt in the ninth, leading 3-1 now. A little more breathing room looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, where ECU will have the top of the order due up. What a rookie year for Enrique Bradfield. So much that young man has accomplished this year for Vanderbilt, and delivers at a crucial moment late in this ball game.
He's been a star. He has been a star for Vanderbilt. And Dominique Keegan at the plate now. He's got a chance to put this game out of reach with one swing.
Keegan is hitless in the Super Regional. He was terrific in the Regional last weekend. Had 3 homers. Colmore sets. Here's the pitch. Outside, 3-1, and no place to put him.
Well, this is always the danger, Clay, with loading the bases. You put a lot of pressure on your pitcher because you know you got nowhere to put anybody. You got to throw strikes. And right now, Cam Colmore is in a big-time bind.
This is why playing at home is so critical this time of year. And being a top 8 national seed secures that. Vandy fans making some noise. The 3-1. Walked him. And it's 4-1 Commodores. And that didn't miss by much, Ben.
No, I thought this ball here could have been called a strike because it splits the plate. You can see Colmore is upset. Watch this ball. I mean, it's just about belt high, and it's right down the middle of the plate. And you would think on a 3-1 count, you would get this call, but ECU does not, and another run for Vanderbilt.
Cliff Godwin is staying put in the dugout. This belongs to Colmore as Leneve comes up again. He's 0 for 2. And now an appearance from Cliff Godwin, and he is chewing on home plate umpire Kellen Levy on the way out to visit Colmore. And he's going to make the change. Going to go with the left-hander.
Yeah,
and I think yesterday.
Yep. Go ahead, Clay. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, We saw this yesterday. I think Godwin feels that the strike zone wasn't exactly fair for his Pirates yesterday. I think he's feeling the same way today.
Yeah, I think there was a point in time in the game yesterday where I felt like Kumar Rockwood's getting a few more pitches than what Gavin Williams was getting. Now, after some carping by Cliff Godwin, I think it straightened back out a little bit. Of course, it's not intentional, but he just felt that way, and I think he feels the same way today.
Pitching change. Vanderbilt now with a 3-1 lead, looking for more in the 9th. Thank you very much. Listen, hey, those fighting Mike Rooney's, I'll tell you, there's something to behold. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish going to give Mississippi State all they can handle, that's for sure. As you look at A.J. Wilson, their 21st appearance on the year, he comes in with the bases loaded, needs one more out to get East Carolina off the field. It's been a disaster inning for the Pirates. A 1-run deficit has turned to a 3-run hole.
Yeah, and if you remember, A.J. Wilson came in yesterday. I think it was 4 straight balls for him. And he was out of the ball game. But he needs to, right now, figure out a way to get an out.
So Leneve is in the box. The left-hander readies. First pitch is a breaking ball, fouled off. You can see that Troy Leneve, who has been a big part of this team over the last month, has also over the last month developed pretty good mustache and lip whiskers. I know you always appreciate
well, this
facial
is a great
hair
time
in the
of
postseason.
Year. You know,
yeah.
School is out. They're just playing ball. It's like big leaguers now. You know, you wake up every day, you sleep, you eat baseball. That's what you do. And if you're one of the lucky ones that got to be one of the 64 to continue your season, it's a dream come true.
3 walks in this inning have helped get 2 runs across for Vanderbilt, but that big hit by Enrique Bradfield that made it 3-1 really changed the feel of this game, as that one's fouled off as well by Leneve. Now Vandy just 3 outs away from getting back to Omaha for the 5th time in program history. Chance to defend that national championship. Give Jack Leiter another win. He was magnificent on the mound. The 0-2 from Wilson. And misses upstairs.
Yeah, you got to give Vanderbilt credit. Look, 1A and 1B on the mound. Both their starts, those guys did what they were supposed to do. They came out and answered the bell. Tim Corbin got enough offense out of his offense yesterday, a 2-0 win, and he's getting enough so far today.
Two and two. Norby, Francisco, Moylan due up in the bottom of the 9th. 1, 2, and 3 in the East Carolina order. We got the player of the year to start off the inning. High fly ball, center field backing off. Starling now coming in a bit, and that'll end it. But 2 huge insurance runs for the Doors. Can they finish it in the 9th? East Carolina will have something to say about it. Jack Leiter is their Capital One player of the game. I don't think there was any doubt. He was absolutely outstanding. 7 innings. Gave up just 1 run, a couple of hits. Struck out double digits again. 10 Ks today, Ben McDonald.
Yeah, he was as good as Vanderbilt hoped he would be. He only gave up 2 hits. Of course, one was the solo home run by Moylan. But other than that, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. When pressure got on him a little bit, he was really good.
We thought they might turn it over to Luke Murphy to close this one out, but they're going to stay with the sophomore, Nick Maldonado. And I don't know if the 2 runs scored in the top of the inning changed maybe their feel on this, but anyway, they feel comfortable with either one of the M&M boys, Maldonado or Murphy, at the back end of the pen.
Well, Maldonado's got 7 saves. Murphy's got 8. And the way Maldonado handled the 8th inning, he was really sharp. A strikeout, 2 weak fly balls. And he's been landing that cut fastball. You can call it a cutter or a hard slider. It reminds me a lot of the way Kevin Kopp's over to Arkansas pitches. You know, it's not a whole lot of fastballs, but it's a lot of those cutters on the outside part of the plate. And he was dominant in the 8th, so he's going to get a chance to finish this thing.
2 strikes to Connor Norby. Maybe his last at bat as an ECU Pirate. Cliff Godwin thinks that Norby is going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick this year out of Kernersville, North Carolina, the American Conference Player of the Year. He has been absolutely terrific.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him on both sides of the ball too, Clay. He's been good on defense and hit well over 400 all year long, and he's a pop in the bat too. I mean, 15 home runs, 51 RBIs. He can run, 18 steals, no doubt. He's going to go early in the draft.
Check this swing, holds up to bring it to a full count. You look at Norby's numbers, and it is, here's another look, and it looks like he held up. You look at Norby's numbers, here it is the 12th of June, and he's hitting .416.
Yeah.
The season started in February.
Well, you can tell a really good understanding of the strike zone. That's where it begins. I mean, nobody hits over 400 in college baseball unless you understand and you go after balls in the strike zone. And what we've seen, a little bit we've seen of him, very selective.
Fly ball, should be an out. Thomas is going to camp under it, make the catch, 1 down. Cliff Godwin and the ECU Pirates still trying to solve this super regional round. They're down to their last 2 outs. Ground ball. Nolan to first, 2 away. And fans in the stands starting to look at their cell phones and thinking about booking a ticket to Omaha. Maybe that's what Leiter's doing right now. Big Owl. The 1-0 to Moylan. Drove in the only run for the Pirates this weekend, his last time up with a solo homer. And now the Pirates down to their final strike. Got him! Vandy's going back to Omaha. Cliff Godwin, so much respect for the staff at Vanderbilt, where he really got his career started in college coaching. ECU comes up empty again in the super regional round, but a program that really needs to hold its head up high because they were a tough out for these Commodores this weekend, Ben.
No doubt about it. I mean, Cliff Godwin's got this program rolling. It's a big-time college program. Don't think it's not. The offense just wasn't enough as they only scored 1 run here in 2 ball games. But all in all, they have a really good team.
So Vanderbilt, the first team in 2021 to punch a ticket to the College World Series in Omaha, which starts next weekend. Vanderbilt with a 4-1 win over East Carolina in the Super Regional round to move on. Coming up next, Euro 2020, Denmark and Finland. For Ben McDonald and our entire crew, I'm Clay Matvick saying so long. We hope you enjoyed it. Jack Leiter in the doors. Moving on to the College World Series.